Welcome everybody to the 1175 chapter review for One Piece. This chapter is insane. We're getting lore, we're getting fights, we're getting movement between the characters. We're finally getting some movement after this flashback, after this Beck flashback. Finally, we're getting to the action. So, getting straight into it, the chapter title is Nidhogg, and the cover request is Sabo and Koala hanging with some koalas. I think this is just shipping these two. I'm here for it. Let's get straight into this chapter, though. Starting off the chapter, Sanji is freeing Robin from the thorns, Summers' thorns, with his fire. He's using like Diablo Jambe and then just like kicking the thorns and burning them. And all of the Straw Hats are happy. And then Jinbei is like, so those vines are weak to higher temperatures. So I hope that the way to get through these thorns wasn't just fire this entire time. Like we could have just burned these fucking thorns and been fine. I honestly hope that this is pointing to like what Gabon was talking to Sanji about, what we didn't get to hear. Like maybe this is something to do with his hockey. And he's like realizing, okay, like when I'm using this fire, maybe I'm actually doing something because Sanji isn't like saying anything. He just has like dot 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 over his head. And I'm surprised he's not more happy that Robin's actually free. Everyone is like, all of the Straw Hats are like noticing Loki in the distance, and they're all like looking over, like, what the fuck is that big ass shadow? So moving on, we're cutting over to the West Village, over where Ja Rule's at, and we are seeing that Loki has put down all of the guardians and parents and all the kids on the ground, and all the kids are like, all like our parents are going to die because they all got stabbed by the thorns, so they're all still hurt. And then some of the Elbaf giants are like, why would you place them all here on the battlefield, Loki? And Loki's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to fight. I don't really care. We see a big ass panel of Loki, of what he looks like in his dragon form. I think he looks sick as fuck, dude. He looks awesome. He is ginormous. I've seen some people complain about his design. I think he looks fine. I think he looks sick, honestly. It looks huge in this chapter. We see Luffy on top of his head and he's like yelling out to Zoro. And then we have Ja Rule who's giving like a message to Elbaf that the children are safe. So now everyone is on the same page. The hostages are free. The Straw Hats are acknowledging this. So I guess Zoro is staying in this place. Like that's he's having a little bit of conversation with Luffy. And then Zoro tells Loki and Luffy to take out the dream monsters because those are the main things wrecking havoc while Zoro's holding down the village. And then Sommers is literally trying to attack all of the kids and the adults that are there. He's pulling out like this like vine Gatling gun fucking thing. And he's literally he's like going off on this monologue and the kids are like trying to protect their parents. He's doing all this is honestly dumb as fuck because he's doing this shit in front of Loki and Luffy. Like, did you not just see this giant fucking dragon? Like this Luffy and Loki are just watching this. They're just watching Sommers literally go off, and they're just. I just don't understand. Like Sommers, what do you think is about to happen, dude? Do you not notice the big ass dragon and fucking Sun God literally standing behind you? He tries to like shoot them with his Gatling gun. So Zoro like jumps in the way and blocks all the thorns that Sommers shot. And then Luffy's like, "Way to go, Zoro." And then Summers is like, who did that? And then Luffy jumps into the sky, grabs a lightning bolt, and he's like, Zoro, he's a member of my crew, and don't forget it. And then he like absorbs the lightning into his fist or whatever. He like aims in on Summers' head and like locks onto him, and then uses a fucking booming Dawn Thorn rifle or Thor rifle, like a giant fucking fist with hockey, with lightning, and just cooks Sommers. Literally cooks his ass. Sommers' head is like split in fucking half. And with Luffy doing this, all of the thorns go away on the children and stuff. So I'm assuming Luffy just like cooked his ass hard enough to where it just his devil fruit ability went away. Like you just packed him up hard enough to where his ability went away. It's kind of funny because some of the I think it's Oimo is like the straw. He says like the straw hats after Luffy does this, and I think it's just funny because you're saying the straw hats, and it's just Luffy and Zoro, and that's just what it feels like nowadays. To where it's just like the monster trio are the straw hats. They're the only ones really doing anything. The rest of the straw hats are just standing off in the fucking background doing fuck all, dude. I wish we could just get more people. Like Sommers is getting cooked right here by Luffy. It's like, why can't we have like this is a Frankie opponent? This is a Jimbei an easy Jinbei win. Why can't we have anyone else do anything? So we see Ripley say, I finally got to see it. Luffy Kun's white form. He really does look just like Nika. I believe he's the one, the warrior of liberation. And then Sommers is like, did you say Nika? That's just a tall tale told to scare kids. But I seen another translation where he says it's like a fable. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting. So he's still able to talk after Luffy literally split his head in half. And then we just see Loki's giant fucking dragon claw, and he just absolutely just pulverizes Sommers. Then we finally get a little bit of explanation on this shit, honestly. So we cut over to Chopper and Gabon. They're just like chilling on a fucking hill or something. I don't know where they're at. And Chopper's like, is that? And then Scopper's like, that's Loki, all right. This is the first time I've seen him like this too. And then we get a little flashback. It's like a continuation of Ja Rule talking to Shanks and Gabon after Harold is defeated. And originally, like, Ja Rule didn't really explain anything about the national treasure. He just said he didn't know much about it. Now we're getting a like rerun of that fucking it's literally the same like walk. They're in the same hallway, but we're just getting more information. So it's like, what, why couldn't we have gotten this a couple chapters ago? But Ja Rule says the mythological dragon fruit is the Nidhogg fruit. So we're getting confirmation that it's the Nidhogg fruit. And he says that whoever eats it becomes the biggest dragon, but depending on the size of the person, that's gonna like determine the final size of the dragon. So the bigger the person that eats the fruit, the bigger the dragon in the end. So that's why you wanted to get the biggest fucking person to eat this fruit. So yeah, it's a lightning dragon. Nidhogg is a lightning dragon in the One Piece world. That thing is awesome. So then Shanks asks, so the fruit was forbidden and hidden due to immense power? And then Ja Rule's like, no, it's been guarded by Ragnar, which we already knew that it was guarded by Ragnar. And that's exactly what Harold said, whatever, on 1170, I think. He said that it's been guarded for centuries and no one's been able to eat it. I don't know if, like, how many centuries we're talking. Is this, we really haven't gotten an explanation if anyone ate it in the Void Century. So Ja Rule goes a little bit more in depth and he says, in Elbaf, there is a legend about a god of war who fought with Ragnar. It is said that he took the form of a giant dragon and he locked horns with the sun god. He was accompanied by a loyal partner, the ice squirrel Ratatoskr. To make a long story short, after his master died, they say the loyal Ratatoskr came to possess the weapon Ragnar and awaits his master's return, or so the legend goes. So the god of war was a person who had the Nidhogg fruit, and they just wielded this big ass hammer. And they had a friend who was this ice squirrel. The ice squirrel, I don't really know what to make of it, because it's like, okay, are you telling me a squirrel ate like a Ratatoskr fruit or something like that? And then a devil, like, because it's like an ice squirrel, how the fuck is that possible? And then this fucking squirrel enters this hammer. I don't know how this, I don't know how this works. It seems like a devil fruit, right? It seems like the squirrel became a devil fruit and then it was fed to the hammer. But it's like, how does an ice squirrel come to exist in the first place? I don't get it. So this person in the past fought against some sun god figure, and in this picture, we're getting like a Nika who is black again, and I honestly believe that this black Nika is an actual character or something. Like, maybe this is the thing controlling Emu. I don't fucking know. But we have seen so many instances of like this, a darker Nika figure instead of Luffy's like white form. Like, they're always talking about his white form, and this fucker's all black. So it's like, why? Yeah, I think that this is First World, because this does not look like Joy Boy. This looks like ancient shit. And I honestly think that maybe this is why Joy Boy lost, is because he didn't have Nidhogg or something and it wasn't the right time. I honestly don't know. I think this is all First World shit. And I'm really excited to learn more about the First World, because that's probably one of the things we know the least about in One Piece. But yeah, so Gabon and Chopper, or Gabon is like saying to Chopper, like, okay, like the Ragnar has made its choice and it chose Loki. So I still don't understand if Ragnar chose Loki because, you know, it's whatever, like a prophecy or something like that. Like, Loki had those demon eyes. Is that supposed to mean that he was supposed to be chosen to become the god of war? Or was it really because he was so strong? Because it seems like it was a power thing. Like, why would Harold think that he'd be able to take Ragnar in the fruit? Maybe he's like, I'm strong enough to where it doesn't matter if Ragnar wants to choose me or not. I could just take it. I don't really know. But I'm under the assumption that Loki was just the right figure because of how powerful he was at the time. But yeah, so we're seeing Loki charge up a giant fucking lightning blast Boro breath, and he's firing at the fucking nightmare monsters, and he absolutely obliterates them. This is literally a fucking Raigo from Enel. This is like Leloucia getting bombed. This is literally an ancient weapon. And he's putting hockey on this lightning attack. There is black sparks coming from this as well. And we see like Gunko Emu is like standing there watching all this destruction. And she glances over to Luffy Ratatoskr on top of Loki's head. And then we get like a cut over to the Holy Land. And it's like going from like Gunko's mind over to like Emu's head. And they say, so that is the Nidhogg. It was here all along. We're seeing Mary Joie. It's fine. It's not under attack. It's not under flames. I don't know what the problem is. Emu is like standing in the flower room. So Emu is able just to exist in both places, I assume. I don't think Emu's like retreating from Gunko's body, but who knows? I don't know. Like Emu doesn't know everything about Nidhogg. This is why I think that there is some other. I think there's more to this. And this is why I think Nidhogg is in the first world. In the other translation I was reading, it was saying that, you know, like, oh, like Emu and Nidhogg share a connection. That was like the little editor's note at the end of the chapter. And I'm like, okay, why is it a surprise that they're connected? And I almost think like, okay, Emu came about in the second world during Joy Boy's time. If Nidhogg is from the first world and Nidhogg wasn't, you know, brought to be during Joy Boy's time, then Emu might have only heard about Nidhogg. They might not know about all of the history in Elbaf and shit. And Nidhogg might have been hidden for literally thousands of years. We don't know how old the first world is. So I'm like, maybe Emu only knows about Nidhogg kind of. And it's really like Nidhogg is something that Emu hasn't experienced before because it seems like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be making another video probably in, either tomorrow or in 2 days or so, covering more shit about this chapter. There's so much to cover here. This is awesome. I really wish that we could get more chapters like this where we just actually get a lot to think about, a lot of content. But I'm expecting next chapter we have to get Emu versus these guys. We have to actually get somewhere with that because I don't know. Emu has been just floating for the last 2 chapters. We don't even know where Brooke's at. Brooke's not even in this fucking page. I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming we're actually going to get away from these children. They're healed. They're saved. Okay, let's fucking move on and get this shit going. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the review, I'd like to hear what you guys have to think down in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks. That's all I got today. See ya.